Hello, and thank you for joining us on another segment of New England Veterans Liberty House Veterans Corner. I wanted to do this segment for a couple reasons. One is I know what I know, and two is I don't know what I don't know. One of the things that I wanted to do in this segment and the next is bring you some information about questions out there in regards to charter school. I think it is our duty and my obligation to be able to bring you this information out there so that you could go out there, be able to analyze the information that's being given you, digest a little bit, and make your decisions as to base how you want to move forward with that question number two. I brought a subject matter expert here today because I am not a subject matter expert in this field, not to put him in a spot, but my guest is Mr. Josh Alba. Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Thank you very much, TT.
One of the reasons that I wanted to bring you here was, and we initially met at one of the speaking engagements that you had for, Representative Michael Devers and Senator Barbara Italian put together, and I was so impressed with your knowledge in regards to charter schools.
Thank you.
I think that I'm one of those individuals that were lacking in that knowledge, and prior of me listening to you there, I was all for charter schools. I'm going to tell you that right now. Once I listened to what you had to say, I'm a type of individual that I don't get strung along or puppet along, and I don't really, my friends could vote one way and I could vote another way. That's my decision, my right to vote the way I want to vote. But it's also our responsibility, I think, to educate ourselves on, those that are supporting it and those that are opposing it, and then make it your own, and then come out and make a decision. So that's why you're here. And one of the things that I do before, please tell us a little bit about yourself. What inspired you to get involved? I think that as I'm honored, really, that you're here as a young man. You're putting your best foot forward, and you're being a part of an issue. So instead of being part of the problem, you're part of the solution. And so I admire that and respect that dearly. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, JT. Thank you for
You're
serving
welcome.
our country, and
you.
thank you for having the show for veterans. It's crucial.
Thank you.
Lots of holes to fill in that area.
Go for it.
My name is Joshua Alba. I am a lifelong resident of Lawrence, born and raised. Grew up in Tower Hill, and I've just been having conversations in the community for a while now about local issues, about education in general. Sure. The last 2 years specifically, I've been holding a forum talking with people about the receivership, the state of the Lawrence school system, and it has come up about the charter school issue, parents and teachers coming to the forum that I created.
So let me stop you real quick. Well. So you started off pretty much before you even got involved, more so in advocating for education. What did you do prior to that? I mean, before you decided to really get involved, was there another passion you had? I mean, because it seems like you're a very passionate guy, so I'm sure that you're taking all kinds of things on. So
yeah, I'm just an all-around activist. There's a lot of injustice in the world. And socioeconomic depravity, and that's just my thing. I looked at Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all these people, Mario Savio, Pablo Duarte, and just speaking up. I've been on Bread and Roses Heritage Committee.
Nice.
That does
Good
the Bread and
organization.
Roses Festival since 2007. I've been on the boards of several organizations, Greater Launching Professionals Network as well, and just kind of putting forward different.
Where did you go?
Ideas.
Where'd you go to schooling? Where'd you educate yourself? You're at college. Where'd you go to college?
I'm actually technically still in college right now. I'm at NECO. I took 10 years off.
Either you're in or you're not.
Yeah, well, I had to put it off. Yeah, for a while. Things got busy.
Yeah, been there too.
And just I read a lot.
Good.
Is where my knowledge comes from.
Reading is good.
Yeah.
Good to go. After you put obviously, and you know what, I gotta admire that. There's so many people, and a lot of our veterans, brothers and sisters, done that. They put their lives on hold. They put their education on hold to fight social injustice, or to go fight, for the freedom and security of this country. So I respect that totally, because you have a mission in mind, and if not you, then who? You know, I tell that a lot of people. If not you, then who?
Exactly.
All right. So good to go, man. I'm glad that you're here. I know that you just recently got an award, didn't you, by the City of Lawrence? You didn't think I was going to mention that, did you? Well,
Try to stay humble, you know?
Surprises. Yeah, well, it's a very, it is. It's very humbling, but I think that it also speaks volumes of your character. It also speaks volumes of the kind of man that you're trying to be. So tell us a little bit about that award. I'm sure that it was very humbling to receive.
That was the Hispanic Heritage Award that the mayor created last year, and I got it for community activism, for serving the public good.
Congratulations.
And forwarding education issues as well, and just creating safe spaces for people to be able to challenge the status quo.
Congratulations.
And, like, learn how to do
Congratulations.
that.
Yeah, and I always tell people too, man. I think we need more young adults really to get involved. You know, I keep telling a lot of our viewers, and I keep telling my girls, and say, you know, you are our future. You know, you're our future counselors, you're our future mayors, you're our future attorneys, you're our future state reps and senators, our doctors, and so, you know, to see, we need actually more individuals like you to really get involved. So to see you get up there and, you know, lacing up your boots and marching forward, and it's a great example for others to emulate. So let's get into the real reason why we're here. So I was under the impression, and I'm going to talk to you just as a regular citizen, because I'm a citizen of the City of Lawrence. I moved here about a year and a half ago, and I'm pursuing some other issues here, or matters here in the city as well. And I'm very passionate to be able to help those that otherwise can't help themselves. And I'm here to assert their rights, right? So I'm here to protect the weak and the innocent. So I love to surround myself with individuals of that sort. So before I get into all really deep, I didn't know what the number two question was about. I knew it was about charter schools, right? So before I got educated, a little bit of education I got from you, because it wasn't really that I spent a lot of time around you, but I went and did a little bit of research in the website. I was under the impression, and my apologies for my ignorance, but I was under the impression that charter schools were, first of all, an extension of the public schools, right? And I also thought that more kids had the opportunity to go to a charter school versus a public school. I couldn't really understand the method as to why. When I learned a little bit about it, that only about 5%, I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, 5% of the kids in the City of Lawrence here are probably going to charter schools, and the rest are not. I find that to be so unfair, because the quality of education might be a little better in a charter school because maybe they have a little bit more funds. I don't know, and you're going to correct me on that. They have more educators, I guess, in that charter setting. But what I don't agree is, here we go again, segregating our population. So now you're only getting a percentage of the kids to get this, you know, great education. And I can't say anything about public schools. I was reading about public schools as well. Public schools are doing a very good job in educating our kids. Yes, we just need to funnel more money down to them. So I totally, once I read that, it's, you know, it's a lottery, and then kids get picked with a spinning wheel. I just totally disagree in that method. Before I go any deeper, I just want you to digest that and give me a quick response in regards to that, what we just spoke about. Not knowing the structure very well, I think, is what, you know, from the beginning made me agree to support number two.
Yeah, so I guess the other thing that I forgot to say earlier was that I'm an organizer in Lawrence for the Save Our Public Schools campaign, which is the No on Question 2 campaign.
And where are you stationed out of right now? Where's your headquarters, campaign headquarters?
Campaign headquarters is in Charlestown.
Okay.
But I organize in Lawrence and Middlesex County. Lawrence, Lowell, and Middlesex County.
Good. Are you getting a lot of people out there to support the cause?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Teachers, parents, students are out there knocking doors every day.
Good to go.
And so the issue with what you're saying is that initially the charter schools were supposed to be these innovation labs for finding out how students with disabilities, English language learners, and any students with individual education plans, maybe they have behavioral issues, maybe they have some other thing that can't be categorized, maybe like a vision issue or something like that.
Sure.
What I mean? To figure out how they learn
some
better.
type of disability learning.
Exactly. Yeah, and ESL, and just students that have dropped out.
So that was that was the focus. That was the mission.
The initial purpose.
Okay.
What has happened since then, since the 90s when this whole thing started, is that the charters have become a system, a two-tiered system, like you were saying, a segregated system that is in competition with the public school system versus
working together
like they were supposed to. Like they were supposed to share openly information and saying, hey, this population of students seems to work through these methods better. Use this because you service 96% of the population.
Gotcha.
You're obviously getting a lot more than us. We're taking
Sure.
a small sampling
Gotcha.
to figure out how they're working.
Okay.
And what happens now is that basically the public schools and the charter schools are competing for funding in a public education budget that has been underfunded for the last at least decade.
Yeah, well, I could see some of the stuff that I've been bringing up, Josh, is that in general, the government in general, public schools in particular, beginning with the Ronald Reagan era, when this was started under the National Commission on Excellence in Education. Anyway, this is I'm learning a little bit about the charter schools, but so if they were initially set up to be an extension of the public schools, and for all good reasons that you just mentioned, and I think it was more to be able to provide, if I'm understanding it right, Josh, and correct me if I'm wrong, to be able to provide some insights of what's working and not working for those other kids that might be at a level of education level that the rest of their classmate might be.
Exactly.
So that's what you're saying. That's what the
Yes.
whole mission was in
Yeah.
the get-go. Okay. And I'm sorry, I just had to repeat myself because, again, I'm going to do that often, and I'm hoping that I can get as much information to you guys out there before the November 8 election. So I'm sorry, again, I don't want to take too much of your time, and I want to give you as much time as possible so you could hear that. Please continue.
Yeah, and so what has happened here across the state is that the situation has deteriorated so much that 60% of the schools, of the charter schools in Massachusetts, do not have even parental representation on their boards because they're run by nonprofits, right? And so, and then they're imposed on the state. They're imposed by the state onto local communities like ours, like Brockton, like Gloucester, where Brockton and Gloucester didn't even want a charter school, and they still got it, even though the teachers and parents and students organized against it.
Because ultimately it was a state decision?
It's out of our hands. It's completely out of our hands. Okay. And so the ballot question is asking, right? We'll go into the issues, right? But let's frame the context of the ballot initiative. Question number 2 coming up in November is about lifting or removing the cap from the amount of charter schools that are allowed to exist in the state.
Okay, so since the inception of the charter school to now, what's the amount of charter school within the first agreement, I guess, right? Technically, because if they want to lift it, that's going to be a whole new agreement that they're going to have with the public system and charter system. So what was that first agreement? What was the amount of charter schools under that agreement that they were able to create? Did they meet that max? And is that why they're lifting the cap to make, because they already met their max? Or what? I mean, what is it?
So we're not at the cap yet. As I understand
so what's the cap? What's the amount?
I believe it's like 130 charters are allowed.
And so how many charter schools are in existence now?
We have room for 40 more.
Okay.
Still. I know each district has its own cap.
Okay, so let me ask this. Oh, so it's per district. It's not per, like, Massachusetts
Well,
in general.
statewide, it's like 130. We have room for 40 more to grow. But then, like, it
Throughout
depends on
Massachusetts?
population. Yes.
Okay. So from the date that it was initiated to now, 2016, how many charter schools have been created from day one to present? Do you know?
So that I don't know.
And
that.
if you know, that's fine. That's okay.
But
I didn't want to put you in the spot.
No, that's fine. This is a good conversation. I don't know that, and I don't know if the cap has changed since before when it first started.
Okay.
This is like way before my political time, kind of thing. But I do know that charter schools are opening and closing left and right because some of them are failing. Some of them don't even have their locations for, because like the Brockton school, I believe it's Brockton, didn't even have the location that they were supposed to be at on the opening day of school, and the children were left to go elsewhere.
Okay.
I don't even know if they went to school that day, but they arrived and they weren't able to be taken in.
And we're gonna get to it. I know, and I'm sorry that I'm skipping back and forth, but all that you're saying is just my mind right now is going like at 1,000 miles.
And that wouldn't
per hour.
happen in a public school system.
Yeah, and I'm so. How is it run? How is a charter school run now? Because I've been told afterwards that this is run. A lot of stuff that runs in this country runs like a corporation, but I was told it's a corporation, and there's actual people that might be able to invest in charter schools and get a return on their investment from now. Is that just hear and say? Is that just rumors and in your windows? I mean, because I don't know enough about it. But so, what's your take on it?
The report that I refer to is by WBUR. They did a couple articles on dark money and how hedge fund managers from Wall Street. The one that I point out to people is the Walton family that owns Walmart.
Okay.
Are one of the biggest funders of the charter school movement.
No kidding.
And so, I forget the dynamics of it.
So is this a good gesture, good deed donation, or is it something that you're investing in then to get a return on it?
If millionaires wanted to run their own schools, cool, use your own money.
That's what I say.
But what's happening is that they're taking money from the public school system to the tune of $450 million in order
Who's
to...
taking that money?
The charter schools.
Okay, so the charter school is taking it from the public systems, which right now is a charter school considered a separate entity?
They're quasi-public. They say that they're public, but in reality, they're public when they want the money, the tax dollars.
When it's convenient.
But they're private when they spend it, because there's no transparency, there's no local control, local parents, or local
there's no
school
oversight.
committee.
There's no, I mean, the nonprofits, you have to yearly audits, you have to report,
you don't have to disclose
your
your donations.
990s and all that stuff. So if you're not disclosing that, then you're not a nonprofit.
There's many issues. You know what I mean?
I'm serious. I have a problem with that. I really have a problem with that. I'm a nonprofit, and every year I have to disclose every single penny that comes through and goes out, right? But that's a nonprofit, and I want people to know, hey, this is where your funds that you're donating are going. It's my fiduciary duty, my obligation to be able to inform the public that is so willingly to support our cause, right? So, but if you're not doing that, they're charter schools and they're not doing that, you might want to.
In Lawrence specifically, we're losing over $17 million to charter schools, right? And we've had the whole issue of accountability with this, right? We have two parents that came out from the local charter schools that people love here, talking about how the lack of accountability and the lack of engagement with the parents is disappointing.
Who oversees the Who oversees the charter school? Superintendent?
The receiver. I'd call him the receiver.
The receiver, because that's what he is. Yeah.
Jeff Riley. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're under state receivership because our schools were doing so bad.
Yep. Schools are doing a lot better right now. I think. Excuse me again for cutting you up, but before, I think before I was really involved, there was like maybe one level one school here in the city of Lawrence, and I think there's about 7 or 8 level one schools. So sorry, but I had to throw that in there.
No, yeah, that's the receivership and what's happening there is good conversation for another time, for sure. And I could reference you some people to talk about that.
No, I mean, overall, we also got to prepare ourselves when the time comes and the receivership is going away, and how we're going to make that transition over to be as smooth as possible, so that we could continue on. And the bottom line and the end goal and the mission here is to provide the best possible education that we can for our kids. So I mean, it is what it is. It happened. Receivership. It's one on another bridge, and then we'll just move forward in the future and see how we could come back to being under the government of the city of Lawrence. But please continue on with the.
Yeah, And so the transparency issue is a big problem, right, across the state, because I said 60% earlier.
Yep.
60% of the charter schools do not have parental representation on their boards.
It's not good.
How is that even possible when there are local parents bringing their kids to these schools and they don't even have a say in that, and it's mostly private business people, investors that are on these boards, right? So like, just look at the money, look at the backing.
Yeah, they're going to look at the shareholdings, and they're going to look at the stocks, and they're going to look at your dividends, and they're going to. So I mean, if you're going into a school to find out where, to see every quarter or every year come in and share and divide your dividends, and to me, it's
money trickles down from the top,
business.
then to the student.
Yeah,
And that's not how a
business.
school should be run. Money should be going straight to the student and then supporting the students,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So the issue with the funding formula that we're having here, because the opposition would say that, hey, like, you guys are getting X amount of millions of dollars taken away from your school system, but the truth is, they say, right, that you're getting reimbursed for that. And that's not true, right? We're supposed to be getting reimbursed 100% the first year that money gets taken away.
from the public system. From the
to the public.
to the public, from the funding, from the educational funding to the public, and then to the charter school. Is that what you're referring to? And my apologies for my ignorance.
Yeah, no. So when Lawrence, for instance, gets
Yep.
taken away 17 million per year
Roger.
to the charter schools, increasing every year, right?
That's the money that's supposed to be reimbursed back to the
By
city?
the state,
By the state.
and it's not happening because the education budget has never been
Yeah.
fully funded.
Exactly.
And so it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like 100%, and then the next year it's 25, and then for like the next 5 years, and then there's nothing after that.
Gotcha.
But we haven't even been able to meet that funding formula because of the education budget is so stark. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So like not there.
Yeah.
And so the issue with this ballot question is that Lawrence has enough charters, right?
How many
And,
charters in the city of Lawrence? Do you know?
So specifically, there's kind of two different charter school systems happening in Lawrence. There's
that charter school is a charter school. I mean,
exactly. It's not that clear cut. Horace Mann, this guy that started public education in Massachusetts, I think for the whole country, that started in Massachusetts, is one set of charter schools, right? That's the Lawrence Community Day. They have one in Arlington and one in Prospect. And the Lawrence Family Development, which is on West Street. They came in the early 90s
Okay.
and have generally a good sense of what's going on in the community. They're from the community, although there are many fundamental issues there that we still have to address,
Sure.
right? We have also Phoenix Academy, Up Academy, and Spark Academy.
Again, my apologies, but the Phoenix Academy is where?
Phoenix Academy is on Union Street, where the old welfare used to be.
Okay. And what
it's
level?
an alternative high school.
What level? It's alternative high school.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
So high school, you're talking. What is it?
11th to
9th
to 12th. Yeah.
Okay. In the Up Academy.
Up Academy is Up Arlington and Up Oliver.
Okay,
and
what
they're
grades are that?
middle school, I believe.
Middle school, okay.
And Spark
6th,
Academy.
6th to 8th graders?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
And Spark Academy, I don't even know. I was looking at the elementary, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to see what all the charter schools are in Lawrence.
Okay.
But so the situation is such in Lawrence that we're under receivership, right? So the state
Correct.
owns Lawrence schools right now.
Correct.
And so all the schools are under the state's power.
Yep.
The school committee can't say anything about any of the schools, right? They don't have no legal power, right?
Yeah.
And so what I like to say is that we know intimately, right, how it feels to be in a charterized system because we don't have any power. What's going to happen when the receiver leaves? Are the charters going to be given over to the community?
School committee and
Probably
run by the school
not,
committee.
right?
Really?
It's not happening anywhere else in the state.
Really?
Never mind the country, even. You know what I mean?
So who's running it then?
The state.
the
Each
state
state
will continue
Yeah,
to run the charter
charters.
schools, even though the rest of the schools will be turned over to the city of Lawrence for operation and overseeing, but not the charter school.
Not the charters. Yeah.
Go figure.
And so
Do you know we only have 3 minutes left? Man,
weird.
yeah, it's fast. I told you, 30 minutes
Yeah,
is
no.
like nothing. So you better spill out whatever you need
Yeah,
to say.
so-
Make a point right now to convince our viewers,
Yeah.
convince you guys out there to listen to Josh Alba, and really take it to heart, man, and understand it. So I'm going to give you
Yeah.
2 minutes here, platform to just spiel. That's your camera, my friend.
The 3 points are loss of funding. Lawrence is losing over $17 million a year, $450 million a year across the state to charter schools that have no accountability to local school committees and local parents. And the third point is that these charter schools, in order for them to look better than the public schools, end up creaming the crop. They push out students with disabilities, English language learners, and students with individual education plans. Those students go back to the public schools. Money does not return to the public schools like it should. And the,
What benefit will someone have here in
Yeah.
the city for voting yes on it?
there is no benefit because there's not going to be a choice. They want to increase the cap. They want to remove the cap, and that's going to result in 12 new charter schools a year, indefinitely. These are key words here. That's going to result in $100 million more being taken away from the entire state budget, especially in communities like Lawrence, where we're poor, we're minorities, where these schools see dollars, right? Our public schools are doing fantastic.
I think
When
that-
you're considering that they're taking in students all year round, like the charter schools do not. We're taking in students that come from other countries.
What do you mean the charter schools don't take?
They don't have to take students past the beginning of the year.
Oh,
and so
okay.
their cohorts get smaller as the years go along, and they only cater to like siblings. You know what I
Okay.
mean? They prioritize siblings and parents who are college educated, whereas we are an immigrant city.
Wait. Go back again
They're,
for a
they're
second.
self-serving. They're creaming the crop in many ways than one, more ways than one.
So this lottery that's going on is just a figment of people's imagination because they're going to pick and choose whoever based
Essentially,
on.
they get counseled out, and the lottery seems like a good word because lottery, you're going to win $1 million,
fair.
whatever. But
Yeah,
the
it's
public
a
school
fair
system
process.
is open door, and the charters are not.
All right, so we have 1 minute left. I mean, we're going to come back. We're going to do this show. We're going to try our very best to do this in Spanish. So don't hold it against us. So you got 1 minute, man.
Yeah.
Please tell
Please
your
come
audience.
out. Thank you. Please come out to vote no on question 2 on November 8th on the election day. Early voting starts on the 24th. You could do that too. Jump in to hold signs. You could contact me. Look me up on Facebook. You can hit me up at
Give them your number and your Facebook name, please.
Yep. 786-290-7958. My email is joshua@saveourpublicschoolsma.com. We have weekly phone banks, weekly door
Do
knocking.
you have a website?
SaveOurPublicSchoolsMA.com. And you can find out all the data and all the facts there.
Good to go. Please get out there, man. Educate yourself before November 8th. If you need some more information, this is the gentleman you should be calling, or call someone that's actually on boots on ground, doing this every day, breaking out the information and the resources that are out there. Finding, if you want to really dig into this, which I think you should, if you have any kids here in the public school system in the city of Lawrence, please make it a part. Make it your part really to make a difference and educate yourself. Go out there and do the right thing. We're going to be taking off here, and like I always say, go out there and make a difference in someone's life today. Thank you, Mr. Josh Alba, for coming up here and, again, gracing us with your presence. Thank you with all this fine information. Again, if you have any questions of Josh or in regards to the question number 2, you can reach out to us as well, 978-258-2331, or come and visit us at our website, which will have some of this information on our website, which is www.nedlh.org. Thank you. We'll see you soon.